Hello everyone. Welcome to today's video where we will be discussing the French Revolution and why it happened. The French Revolution was a major turning point in European history that brought about radical changes in France and the wider world. In this video, we will explore the key causes of the French Revolution, the events that led up to it, and the impact it had on French society and the world. The French Revolution did not happen overnight. It was the culmination of a long period of social, economic, and political changes in France. The Ancien Régime, or the Old Order, was the system of government in France that existed before the Revolution. It was characterized by a rigid social hierarchy, where the aristocracy and the clergy had a privileged position, while the common people had no voice in government. The Enlightenment was a cultural and intellectual movement that took place in Europe during the 18th century. It was characterized by a focus on reason, science, and individual rights. Enlightenment ideas had a significant impact on the French Revolution. The French people were inspired by the ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity, which were promoted by Enlightenment thinkers such as Voltaire, Rousseau, and Montesquieu. In the years leading up to the French Revolution, France was facing a severe economic crisis. The government was deeply in debt, and the country was suffering from high taxes and food shortages. The poor economic conditions affected all levels of society, from the peasants to the aristocracy. The Estates General was a legislative assembly in France that represented the three estates of the realm: the clergy, the nobility, and the common people. The Estates General had not been called in over 150 years, but in 1789, King Louis XVI called for a meeting of the Estates General to address the country's financial crisis. The Estates General was convened in May 1789, and it was the first step towards the French Revolution. The Estates General was not able to resolve the country's problems, and the common people became frustrated with the slow pace of reform. In June 1789, the delegates of the Third Estate, who represented the common people, declared themselves the National Assembly and vowed not to disband until a new constitution was written. This event became known as the Tennis Court Oath. The Bastille was a fortress in Paris that was used as a prison. On July 14, 1789, a mob of angry Parisians stormed the Bastille, seeking to free the prisoners and seize weapons. The storming of the Bastille is considered the start of the French Revolution. The French Revolution was marked by periods of extreme violence, the most infamous of which was the Reign of Terror. The Reign of Terror was a period of mass executions and political repression that took place from 1793 to 1794. It was led by Maximilien Robespierre, who believed that the only way to achieve a true democracy was to eliminate all opposition. Napoleon Bonaparte was a military leader who rose to power during the French Revolution. He became a hero of the people after his victories on the battlefield, and he eventually seized power in a coup in 1799. Napoleon brought stability to France and implemented many reforms, but he also established a dictatorship and expanded France's empire through military conquest. The French Revolution had a profound impact on French society and the wider world. It led to the overthrow of the old order, the establishment of a republic, and the adoption of new laws and institutions that promoted individual rights and equality. The French Revolution also inspired other revolutionary movements around the world, including the Haitian Revolution and the Latin American Wars of Independence. The French Revolution was not without its flaws and failures. The Reign of Terror, in particular, was a dark chapter in French history that led to the deaths of thousands of people. The revolution also paved the way for the rise of Napoleon, who eventually became a dictator and led France into a series of costly wars that had devastating consequences for the country. The French Revolution was a complex and multifaceted event that was shaped by a variety of social, economic, and political factors. It was a period of great upheaval and transformation that ultimately had a profound impact on the course of European and world history. Another important factor that contributed to the French Revolution was the role of the Enlightenment philosophers in shaping public opinion. The ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity were spread through pamphlets, books, and speeches, and they had a significant impact on the way that people thought about politics and society. Many of the key figures of the revolution, such as Maximilien Robespierre, were deeply influenced by Enlightenment philosophy and saw themselves as agents of a new, enlightened order. Another factor that contributed to the French Revolution was the growing sense of national identity among the French people. The French had a strong sense of pride in their culture and language, and they resented the fact that their country was ruled by an aristocracy that was often more interested in their own self-interests than the well-being of the nation as a whole. This sense of national pride was an important motivating factor in the revolution, as it gave the people a sense of purpose and a common cause to rally around. It is important to note that the French Revolution was not just a political or social event. It was also a cultural and artistic movement. The revolution had a profound impact on French literature, art, and music, as artists and writers began to experiment with new forms and styles that reflected the changing political and social landscape of the time. The works of writers such as Victor Hugo and Alexandre Dumas, and artists such as Jacques-Louis David and Eugène Delacroix, remain influential to this day and continue to shape the way that we think about the French Revolution and its legacy. It's also worth mentioning that the French Revolution had a significant impact on the development of modern democracy. The revolution inspired the drafting of the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, which became a cornerstone of democratic principles and influenced the development of similar documents in other countries. The principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity that were championed during the revolution continue to be core values of democratic societies today. The French Revolution sparked a wave of political and social movements across Europe that challenged the existing power structures and sought greater rights and representation for the people. This led to significant changes in many countries, including the abolition of feudalism and the establishment of constitutional monarchies. The French Revolution also had unintended consequences that were not always positive. The rise of Napoleon, for example, led to the expansion of the French Empire and a series of wars that caused widespread destruction and suffering across Europe. The revolution also failed to address the issue of slavery, and it took many more years of struggle before slavery was abolished in French colonies. It's also important to note that the French Revolution had a significant impact on the role of women in society. During the revolution, women played an active role in political and social movements, and they demanded greater rights and representation. Women's clubs and societies were established, and women marched in the streets alongside men to demand change. Although women did not gain full political rights during the revolution, their participation and activism helped to pave the way for future feminist movements. Women's rights activists in the 19th and 20th centuries often drew inspiration from the French Revolution and the ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity that it espoused. The French Revolution had a lasting impact on the way that people thought about the relationship between the state and the individual. The revolution challenged the idea that the monarch had absolute power and instead emphasized the importance of individual rights and freedoms. This idea became a central tenet of modern democracy and has influenced the development of political systems around the world. It's worth mentioning that the French Revolution was not just a European event. It also had a significant impact on the Americas. The ideas of liberty, equality, and fraternity that were championed during the revolution inspired independence movements in Latin America, which led to the establishment of several new republics in the region. In conclusion, the French Revolution was a complex and multifaceted event that was shaped by a variety of social, economic, political, and cultural factors. It was a period of great upheaval and transformation that had a profound impact on French society and the wider world. While the revolution was not without its flaws and failures, it ultimately paved the way for a more democratic and egalitarian society, and it continues to inspire people around the world to this day. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this video informative and insightful.